Good afternoon. I'm Todd Maxon. Yeah, I'll take any questions about care.
Sir, what's been the range of injuries that you've treated?
The injuries have ranged really from injuries to the skull and brain to lots of lacerations, lots of broken bones, lots of contusions. We saw the whole gambit of that today.
How is your staff doing?
The staff is doing remarkably well. You know, that's one of the beautiful things about this group. We drill on these things. We're the state's level 1 pediatric trauma center, and so we have a lot of experience with this. And they've come together. Everybody's going to enjoy a nap this afternoon tonight. But overall, they did a remarkable job. We had people. The emergency room was full at the time this happened. And the coordination of care was unbelievable. Getting the patients that were already being seen in the emergency room in a place where they could continue to get care while making room for this group of patients, it was just remarkable. The staff that were there, again, who had drilled and prepared for this on multiple occasions, went immediately into action. Other members of the care team came in of their own volition, and we were able to get people diagnosed, discharged into an operating room, those that needed that service in a very timely fashion, and everybody, as Chanda said, is doing quite well now.
In terms of more than 25 patients arriving basically all at once, how unique or uncharacteristic or not uncharacteristic is that for your hospital?
25 patients all at once is unusual. That is absolutely a mass casualty event. But again, our level 1 trauma status requires that we drill on that specific contingency. So at least 2 to 3 times a year, we put together a scenario. If we don't have a live event, we put together a scenario either just of children or in concert with the rest of the hospitals in the community to practice exactly this. And then probably the most important thing we do is after an event like this or one of our drills, we get back together and do a deep dive into those events to be sure that we're picking up any opportunities to improve our performance next time. It's just like a sports team where we really go back and dissect that event. So we'll be able to do that in this event. But I was just thrilled at how the team performed today.
For that have been admitted to the hospital, you mentioned they're stable. So what is their condition? Serious? Critical?
I would say everybody is stable and doing well. They're doing well. We've done we did 2 emergency operations today. Both of those patients are very stable. They're doing well. I anticipate them to have a full recovery. And again, we just like I said before, we had a full operating room today, but that's what trauma centers do is we find a way to take care of the patients we were already committed to and then make room for these 2 that needed these urgent operations. And so our operating room, our anesthesia team, our orthopedic team just did a great job getting them in, taking care of them.
Can you elaborate at all on what types of injuries they had?
Yeah, the injuries that required admissions were those that had significant fractures that required operative intervention, skull fractures, arm fractures, some solid organ injuries, liver lacerations, spleen lacerations, but all of them I really do anticipate are going to have full recovery.
Could you estimate the recovery time for the 2 that had the surgery?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Could you estimate the recovery time for the 2 that did have to have surgery?
I don't. They have broken bones, so it'll be about that. It's sort of the usual healing time of a kid with a broken bone.
How remarkable is it to have this magnitude of a crash and only have 4 admitted patients?
No, I think that's the usual. I would say that's the usual scenario there. That if you look at these scenarios, very few are critically injured, and not that the ones that are going to go home are not injured. There were some pretty significant injuries. They just didn't require hospital admission, and they really desire to be reunited with their family and a little bit closer to home. So we worked hard to make sure that could happen. Well, they've gotten out sort of in stages all through the day. Some were released early, some will be released this afternoon. I think those that are admitted will be here a day or 2 or 3.
What accommodations are you going to provide for families that are still waiting on their children to be discharged?
Well, we've had really great support from both our social workers, from our chaplaincy service. We have a Ronald McDonald house here, and so those services are working with those families to make accommodations, and I'm positive that they'll all be able to be accommodated.
Sir, can you go through possibly, from the first call to the, what did the call come in at?
Sure.
Walk us through the TikTok.
Sure. We have a very robust statewide trauma call center, the Arkansas Trauma Communications Center. And so the first call comes in from them that there's been an event, an estimate of the magnitude, and then they look at the most appropriate hospital. Obviously, Arkansas Children's Hospital is the appropriate hospital for these injuries, and that comes into our call center. And then we have predetermined triage criteria. So based on the injuries, the calls start going out, activating the trauma team. Once enough patients are identified, it sort of moves over from an individual trauma response to a mass casualty response. And again, we have a whole protocol for how that works. And then once that's done, we stand up our incident command center to get support throughout the rest of the hospital. So those were the calls that came in this morning. First call from the communications center saying we've got this event, don't know yet. Next call, we anticipate about this many patients, this age, this severity. Then the pagers start going off for those of us on the trauma team and many of the other responders in the care area. So our trauma team is 24/7 in the hospital, ready to go for those that show up first. So they were attended to immediately by those in the hospital, and then resources start coming in from the outside. I would say by 4 o'clock this morning, we probably had most of the surgeons here in the hospital. We had additional anesthesiologists. We had additional emergency medicine physicians. We had great support from other hospitals in the region where they called and said, "Can we provide support? Can we send help?" So we were really well staffed within the first few minutes of the event.
Were any children life-flighted to ACH?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I'm sort of on the inside and just ready to receive, not really.
Sir, because these were such young injuries, such young children and injuries, how do you handle them differently than, say, folks that were older? How do you hold their hands more? How do you feel them?
Yeah, sure. It's a great question. The principles of trauma care are exactly the same no matter what age you are. But if you don't anticipate and if you're not prepared for the differences in their anatomy and physiology, psychosocial and emotional needs, that's where you make a mistake. And that's why we have pediatric trauma centers. That's why they exist, and we don't just take kids to any other hospital in the community, even if it's a trauma center. We're well prepared for that. As many surgeons as were here at 4 o'clock this morning, there were that many chaplaincy services, child life services, all of the support for the adults that were with them and those kids, and those are the things that make us pediatric specific.
And kind of to that point, I imagine it's as much as easing concerns with parents. We kind of talk about that in the immediate aftermath when these people are.
Absolutely. Again, that's every trauma response that we have. We bring child life and chaplaincy service to the trauma activation. So on a daily basis, they're involved in that care. So nothing they saw today was new. Nothing they saw today was surprising. The magnitude of it was higher, but the injuries were nothing new for them, and they're really skilled at managing the parents, managing their expectations, their anxieties, getting them reunited and reintegrated with the kids. They did a fantastic job this morning.
Can you just confirm all 26 patients were boys?
I don't know. I can't. I don't know that for sure.
Okay.
I didn't see because I didn't see every single patient. I saw the ones that were most significantly injured.
We'll go ahead and take one more question, if anyone else has got one.
Talk a little bit about your first reaction when that call first came in. What's going through your mind then versus where you are now? 24 patients have been released.
So I think for me, when I get the phone call like that, I'm grateful. You know, it's really gratitude. I'm grateful for the opportunities that we've had in the past to drill on this, to have events like this. I know we're prepared. I know we're ready to deal with this. This is what I do for a living. This is what our team does. This is what our hospital does, and so I don't really have any anxiety about it at all. I'm empathetic again with the families and the kids. For them, it's the most terrifying thing they'll ever go through. But we'll manage it. We'll manage it well.